All right, thanks everybody for coming out. Happy brought the goat in today. Love it. Know you're getting close to game week. I love it. Happy first day of class to all of the Carolina students. It was great to be on campus last night on the Horseshoe with President Amaritas and Jeremiah, Kevin, our baseball coach, to welcome the students, and a lot of energy on the Horseshoe last night. Cheerleaders, band, student body, and told those guys and me and it, we got the best home field environment in all of college football, and everyone that was on the Horseshoe last night is a big part of that, the student body and band, cheerleaders, and can't wait to see them in Williams-Brice Stadium here in a little over 2 weeks. Big week with our soccer teams this week. I know our men are kicking things off on Thursday at North Florida, and then our women got two battles this week with upstate teams. Clemson comes to town on Thursday, and then Furman on Sunday. So I would encourage everybody to get out there and see them compete. And best of luck to Tony and the men's soccer team as they kick things off. Also, best of luck, high school football starting this week. In addition to soccer, so best of luck. We've got committed guys in the state of South Carolina, state of North Carolina, state of Tennessee, state of Georgia, state of Alabama that are all playing their opening games this week. So best of luck to all of them and all the high school teams across this area that are kicking things off. Nothing like Friday nights, and excited to see those guys get started with their seasons and go out there and compete. Realize the news from our football team is the injuries to Jaden and Jaden last week. Really hurt for both those guys. Jaden Gibson put so much into getting healthy, getting back out on the field. He had a lot of work to do academically. That a lot of people would look at the work he had to get done academically and would have said, there's no way he's going to get this done. And not only did he get it done, he graduated from OU in the spring in the process. And then to see the trajectory he was on and then get hurt, it's just heartbreaking. And then with Jaden Sellers, same thing. Had such a solid summer and was having a good preseason, and you hate to see anybody get hurt, but we're here for them, and we'll continue to wrap our arms around those guys and the other guys on our team that are dealing with season-ending injuries that we've already talked about before, and help those guys through the rehab process. In addition to those guys, nothing major that's new to report. Normal bumps and bruises in preseason camp. Nothing that would keep anybody out of game one if we played today. And then Peak and Stewart, I know, are always the hot questions, and they continue to be on track. They each have benchmarks that they're accomplishing each week and checkups that they have with doctors and specialists, and both of them had those last week, and everything was positive and ahead of schedule in some ways. So they're both eager to get back out there and are closer and closer each and every day. Since I've seen you guys last, obviously we were in the stadium Saturday night, had a really good scrimmage, in my opinion, being out there. As we talked to our players about, we don't get preseason games, so we've really got to take advantage of those opportunities to go play football in the stadium under the lights, and saw a lot of really good. Obviously, as the head coach, there's good and bad. One side of the ball is doing something, the other side of the ball means they're not, but saw a lot of positives on both sides. Fast start by the offense with both groups, Cutter, Woods, and Lenoris, the drives they led. A really good finish overall by the defense at the end of the night. Really pleased. I thought we played clean football, very few penalties, really only one turnover throughout the evening. Defense got their hands on some footballs that were thrown, but didn't quite come down with them. But one turnover, very few penalties, which was really good to see. I think in this scrimmage last year, I went back and looked, we had 22 penalties or 21 penalties in this same scrimmage last year, and the other night we had 8. This scrimmage last year, we had 14 pre-snap penalties, and the other night we had, I think, 7. Now, 7's way too many pre-snap penalties, but to run close to 90 plays like we did and be that clean from a football standpoint, I was really pleased with. Got a lot of situational work in the scrimmage the other night, third down, red zone, short yardage, goal line, 2-minute, you name it. And then I told our team on Saturday before we went to the stadium that we would learn a lot about our team and learn a lot about individuals, guys that when the lights come on, they really elevate their game. And some guys, when the lights come on, just get out there and, lose their minds in some ways. But learned a lot about our team on Saturday night, thought we took another step. And then since then, I've really been pleased with, what we've done. Since then, you guys were out there on Sunday night. We thought we had a really productive night on Sunday, challenged them coming back off a scrimmage 24 hours later. Normally we don't wear shoulder pads on Sunday nights. We did this past Sunday, went right back to work, had to continue to grind and get better. Thought we had a productive night on Sunday and then a really, really good day today. A little bit longer on the field than we had anticipated today, but we got a lot of situational work done, and that was really good to see. So 2 really productive days. Players have class here this afternoon. We're still in preseason camp mode. We're not out of preseason camp yet from a football standpoint, even though classes are starting. But we've got a big week this week, and then next week we'll lead into our mock game week, where a lot of new faces, a lot of new people, players and coaches that have not been through a game week here with us. But so we'll go through that next week so those guys can understand how a game week around here flows, and getting closer and closer to kickoff. Questions?
Shayna, Gibson was 6'5", and Nick is 6'5". After that, your receivers are all 6'2" or shorter. My question is it really that important to have a tall receiver in general or in Kendall's offense?
I think it helps. I think 6'2" is lengthy in his height. You don't want a bunch of 5'7", 5'8" guys out there, but I think 6'2" is plenty big enough. Do you like those big targets that have that size? Yeah, there's no question about it. But you look at overall just, wingspan, length, how fast they run, and we got a lot of guys that can give us the same things that Jaden Gibson was going to be able to give to us.
Jalen 107.5. How has the team mentally and spiritually responded after seeing Gibson and Sellers go down?
I think they've been great. I mean, it's really hard because our players, they care about both those guys. They see how hard they've both worked, and you hurt for anybody. Hurt for them. You hurt for Jackson Rep. You hurt for Josh Smith. Injuries are a part of football, and it's tough, but at the same time, they understand that they got to be there for their brother and help them and lift them up, and that's what they have been. They hurt for both those guys, and both nights after we found out the news, team wanted to stay out there and have a prayer for both of them and say a prayer as a team, and the best thing they can do is just continue to be there for those guys. But they've responded great. I mean, we went out Sunday night after knowing the news about Pup and had a awesome competitive practice, and today was another really good physical competitive practice.
Hey Shane, how are things going with the kicker battle, and from what you've seen in camp and in the scrimmage? Is it a situation where guys are making their kicks and it's just a tightly knit battle because of that, or has it been a situation where guys just haven't been able to separate themselves yet?
I have no concerns about the kicker position, first of all. We've got a really competitive battle going on right now with Malik, Upton, and Max, and those are the only 3 competing, and those are the only 3 that will continue to compete. All 3 of them are quality kickers. They've all 3, they've been fairly consistent, and I would just say that no one has really separated themselves yet. I wish they would. I mean, not just the kicker position, but a lot of positions. That's what we talked about in our team meeting this morning, Jack, was we got a lot of competitive battles going on. Who's going to be the starter? Who's going to be the backup? And somebody's got to go take this thing at some point. Like, the clock's ticking. And I love the competition, but it's time. And we challenge the kickers that it's time to really separate themselves, and somebody needs to go take this thing and slam the door. And if it happens this week, great. But if not, that's not. As I think I told you guys last week, there's no rush, to name a starting kicker. We'll continue to compete and continue to put those guys in as many pressure situations as we can, which we did again today. And we're just looking at the guys that just continue to step up consistently. But got no concerns there. We got 3 quality kickers, and all 3 of them are having good camps.
What have you seen from Christian Clark that you might have liked so far in terms of trying to separate guys out in that running back room?
Yeah, he's a steady guy. I thought he really worked hard over the summer and continued to develop his body. He's good in pass protection, been good out of the backfield. Just steady and consistent. But that's another position where who wants to go take this thing? And they've all flashed. Jabri had a good night on Sunday night and did some good things on Saturday, and Isaiah and Matt and Jaworn. I mean, it's a quality group, but somebody's got to really say we're the top 2 or 3 and go take this thing. And we got quality running backs that can play at anywhere in this league. There's no doubt about it. But Christian's right up there with those guys. He's got experience. He's a mature young man and steady and consistent, which I like.
Just what have you seen from Sequel Patterson so far through camp, and what kind of impact are you expecting him to have in year 1?
Yeah, he's got from what I've seen, he's an electric, explosive guy. He's a guy that when the ball is in his hands, he has an ability to, really make you miss, and is extremely explosive. Knew that in high school. Knew that watching him play basketball, and then you see that on the football field. So the skill set is absolutely there. The explosiveness is absolutely there. Now for him, it's just learning what to do. And he wasn't here during spring practice, so it's really his first time with all this stuff. But he's spending a lot of extra time meeting with Mike Furry and learning. But I'm excited about his future here, his ability. And he's a guy that just continues to get better and has an opportunity to, help us this year if he'll continue on the track that he's on.
Pete, on the left side.
Pete.
Shane, how are you?
Great, buddy.
Good. Linares, these few years, it always seems like good or bad, he takes it in, accepts it, moves on. He doesn't mentally. He seems really, rock solid on positive or negative. Did you have any doubt he wouldn't be that way entering this season after what happened last year? Did you have to talk to him at all about it, or did you just kind of let him process it and move forward?
No, I think you want them to be who they are and don't change and act a certain way because you feel like you have to. My conversations with him were just more, look, man, like when you come back in 26, you're the leader on this offense, and whatever your leadership style is, I'm not trying to make you into somebody that you're not, but at the same time, all eyes are on you, and you're the guy that when the bullets are flying, you need to be that guy. Everybody looks at you and sees the confidence and the poise, but you can also, in your own way, need to be able to rally the troops too, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that he didn't last year, but he's no longer the young redshirt freshman quarterback surrounded by Boogie and Tonka and D Knight and Debo and Vershawn Lee and all those guys. Like, you're the guy that they were in 2024. Those were really my conversations with him, but I didn't have any worries about him being able to do that. I see that right now. I see him being very vocal out there, challenging receivers, talking to people, leading, yelling at me if I blow the whistle because I think he would have been sacked and he disagreed with it, whatever it might be. So I think he's in a good place right now, just, mentally, confidence-wise, having fun out there and enjoying competing.
Do you feel like any of the position battles have been settled, or are they all sort of like you've described with running back and kicker work?
I think at every position, Hale, there's a layer of what battle is taking place. Receiver-wise, don't know. Running back-wise, wouldn't say anything is settled. Certainly feel pretty good about our top 6 to 7 offensive linemen and trying to figure out what does 8 and 9 look like. Certainly at the tight end position, feel pretty good about where we are with that group. Who's our third quarterback? That's a thing. That's a question that we've got to figure out. Is it Lucian? Is it Landon? Is it Brandon? Is it Jimmy? I don't know. Defensive tackle wise, what's that rotation look like? How many are we comfortable playing on Saturdays? The edge room, who continues to be the guys that are there? Certainly, I feel pretty confident saying our top 3 linebackers are Fred, J.O., and Sean. Well, what does 4 and 5 look like? Feel pretty confident saying that when we roll out there, here's a sneak peek at the depth chart. Vicari and Judge are probably going to be our starting corners. Well, who is the third guy? Everywhere, snapper, kicker, there's different layers of those battles that are going on right now. And as I told the team this morning, special teams is a big part of that. And if I ask Clayton White, hey, man, I know who our top 3 linebackers are. Who do you feel like 4 and 5 are? And he tells me, well, there's really not a separation between 4, 5, and 6. Keenan, Darden, AJ, whoever it might be, Drew. If there's not a lot of separation, then it's going to go right back to special teams too. So the picture is, I told him on Saturday night before we walked over to the stadium, the picture will be clearer after Saturday night in the stadium, but nothing's final, and that's certainly, how I feel right now. The picture became clearer after the scrimmage on Saturday night at some positions, but nothing is solidified. And y'all know me. I mean, I told them this morning that regardless of what we tried out there, play one on offense, defense, and special teams against Kent State, roles change throughout the season, and we're constantly competing in practice, and things change. So just because you're the starter the first play against Kent State doesn't mean you're going to be the starter the next week against Towson if we don't perform.
Hey, Shane. Offensive line communication issues last season just kind of constantly kept coming up, especially when dealing with, I guess, crowd noise. I'm curious in these scrimmages.
Give me an example.
So after SC State, Case and Henry came in here, talked about how, it was hard to hear each other, hard to, I guess, communicate along the line, communicate with Lenoris. I'm curious, just in these scrimmages leading up to the season, how do is there a way to, I guess, work to make sure maybe you don't run into that kind of issue, especially at home next season?
Yeah, certainly. I think, we do a lot of things. The communication starts in the summertime, offensive linemen being able to communicate with one another, get on the same page, quarterback being loud with the communication. We work, different things with crowd noise where they have to be loud, even in walkthroughs sometimes. We'll use crowd noise in a walkthrough just to make guys have to communicate on offense and defense. And we tried to do it in the stadium the other night, just having some sound in an empty stadium just so guys had to communicate. But I've been pleased there. That's on everybody, quarterbacks, tight ends, offensive linemen, running backs. Starts with the system you're running and everybody understanding it and being able to all be on the same page, and then really on the offensive line. So has it been perfect? No, but that's not just the offensive line. That's communication in the secondary. We know it's going to be loud out there on September 5th in our home stadium, and if we're not all on the same page defensively, that could be an 80-yard touchdown pass over your head. So the communication's critical everywhere, and we really work at just the over communicate is what we talk to our guys about. But certainly offensive line, you can't not be on the same page and be turning guys free and things like that, which we've had some issues with that, and we've all had a hand in it.
Hi, Shane.
Hey, Rick.
The other day at practice, I saw Travian jogging across the field out there. How inspiring is it to you and the team to see him moving around like that and coaching passionately after what he went through last year?
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's who he is. Thought the same thing this morning. Saw him jogging at the beginning of practice when he took the field, and just to, think about, I guess it was this time last year, he's laying in a hospital bed and you don't know when he's going to be back. And then a year later, here he is, and he's, full bore in the same intensity and same passion and energy that he had before the accident. It's really cool to see. It's really inspiring to see, and it's a great lesson for all of our guys to don't take anything for granted and always appreciate being able to come out there on the field and compete.
Shane, you always hear tempo as part of any discussion about the offense. How would you describe Kendall's tempo?
I'd say it's certainly put your foot on the gas, but the ability to take your foot off the gas when you need to. I mean, we got a lot of plays run the other night, and I mean, we were in the stadium hour and 20 minutes and got a ton of plays run, and that wasn't even necessarily all tempo. You know, sometimes there's this thing that way back in the day, teams used this thing called the huddle, and sometimes we might actually get in a huddle. So it's not like we're out there and we just go 15,000 miles an hour and as fast as we can. We have a, defense. Also, we have special teams, and you got to be cognizant of the entire football team too, not just the offense. But that's what I like about it, David, is just the ability to, if we need to. And I feel like we've always had this. I mean, I did a podcast yesterday and talked about it. I mean, there's tempo that we've used in the past. Y'all that have been here remember 2021, we went to Athens, the very first third down of the game. They tried to sub and get Jordan Davis off the field, and Zeb went fast, and we threw and caught him with 12 on the field. We went as fast as we could on third down, snapped it, threw the ball down the sideline. I think the Josh Vann third play. Touchdown against Vanderbilt up in Nashville a couple years ago down on the goal line to the left of our bench we went fast to the line of scrimmage as quick as we could, got in an unbalanced formation, handed it to Rocket. He came out the back door, and the defensive back missed the tackle. So we've used tempo in the past. It's not like it's a new thing, but just the I'd say it's a little bit more flexibility with this offense, and but then also the ability to mix it up, which I think is a challenge, because when a defense knows you're going fast all the time, that's one thing. When you're able to, mix it up, but then be able to have some flexibility within the scheme while you're utilizing tempo, it's certainly a weapon for us.
Kind of a random question, but do you have a book guy?
A book guy?
Like the championship analytics. Do you have a guy on the sideline with the book?
What you meant book? Like what I'm reading right now?
Yeah, like the Oprah's book club or something.
I read my own books. I don't have a guy that tells me what books to read. Not really. You hear people talk about the book. We do have a book that's on the field if I needed to use it, and it's nothing against the book, but more often than not, I'm not asking what does the book say. Honestly, I've probably done that, I don't know, twice a year during the season. So I'm making those decisions. But a couple things on that. I spend a lot of time, Jordan, throughout the week of watching offense and defense and special teams and preparing for those situations that come up in a game and what my mindset is going to be, talking to now Kendall, Clayton, and Matthew about situations and how we're going to approach them when they come up in a game. And then when you subscribe to the book, they also, every week, they give you just a huge report of every situation that has come up across college football and the NFL from the week before. And I live for that when I get that on Wednesday nights, because I can immediately dive into it, read about everything NFL and college that happened. What would I do in that situation? So I love that aspect of it. And then on Sunday nights, the people that put together the book, they give you a report on every decision that you made. Do they agree with it? Do they not agree with it? And I'm not saying, man, I'm like 100%, but more often than not, I mean, there have been times where they're like, no, in our opinion, you should have punted there, or in our opinion, you should have gone for it there, or in our opinion, you should have kicked the field goal. But, I'd say more often than not that we're on the same page with that.
Hey, Coach, I want to ask about DJ Black. Starting here, leaving, and then having his time to develop and being here now. What have you seen from him throughout the scrimmage and just as camp continues?
Yeah, DJ's been awesome. We didn't want him to leave when he was here previously. We liked him on offense. Torian Gray was trying to recruit him to come play safety because he saw the size and the speed. But I understood why he left. And then when Furry came to me and said that DJ was interested in coming back, I'm like, heck yeah, And then you watch his video from UCF and you see what he did there. You're like, heck yeah. And then he's been that way, just a mature guy that, in my opinion, not enough people are talking about at the receiver position. David asked a question about guys with length and they can go get it. He can certainly go get it. Caught a touchdown pass the other night in the scrimmage. And I think he's going to be really a weapon for us on special teams because of his size and his speed and his ability to cover kicks, his ability to, be involved in the return game from a blocking standpoint. I think he brings a lot to the table. And then my challenge to him and all the receivers is we've got to be able to sustain it. We can't, if we're utilizing some tempo, we can't go 6 plays and then we just, fall apart. Like, we got to continue to just keep our foot on the gas pedal and continue to be in great shape. And I'm not saying he's not, but that's what we want to continue to see from him. But I'm really, really pleased with where DJ is right now.
Shane, the new pieces you guys added offensively, specifically with Kendall and then the new guys on the offensive line, what kind of difference did you see that making for Lenoris and the way he was able to operate in the first game-like setting in that scrimmage on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the offensive line was good. We had some guys that had been banged up a little bit, Jack, in practice that scrimmaged Saturday night, but had missed a little bit of time. Hank, Shed, that had missed a couple days. So those guys getting back out there was good for us. The protection was solid, and I just think it's who those guys are. I really like the offensive line group right now. I like the mentality that they're practicing with, the way they compete, and the strain they're showing, and that showed up in a lot of ways on Saturday night where Lenoris, felt good about being able to be in the pocket and have time to throw the ball down the field. And then with the guys that we've brought in, being able to see these new guys make plays. And I think if you asked our players, Lenoris or any of our guys on offense, they like what this offense brings because it allows, guys to get the ball in the playmakers' hands in a lot of ways. And you saw that, whether it be, DJ Black or whether it be, any of Mazio, any of our guys that are returning, Stone Furry, freshman that caught a couple balls the other night. It's being able to spread the ball around, get it to different people, and attack defenses that way with the personnel we have.
When a quarterback in general, throws an interception, has a fumble, and comes off the field and is visibly upset, like that can be motivating, right? Shows you care, but in your coaching career, just in a general sense, how beneficial is it to have a quarterback who you can't tell if they just threw a game-winning touchdown or, a game-losing interception?
Yeah, I think that's key. I think anytime you're in a leadership position, whether it be head coach or quarterback, the guy that just maintains that consistency, level-headedness where it may be absolute turmoil on the inside, but you're not showing that on the outside. I think that's key. The great ones that I've been around, you would certainly say that about them. The quarterbacks that I was with at Oklahoma, just thinking about Jalen Hurts and Jalen's that guy, and guys, other ones that I've been around, going back to Georgia when I was there, what was that, 2017, and we played for the national championship, and Jake Fromm was our true freshman quarterback. To come out there as a true freshman, he was that way. You never really knew he was the same person. So I think it's key. Obviously, we don't want him to be happy with turning the ball over and things like that, but at the same time, having very much of a next play mentality, and I made a mistake and I screwed up and I learned from it, and I'll be better next time out. That's the mentality that you want for sure.
At cornerback, with those guys who are working for that cornerback 3-4 spot, what have you seen from those young guys who are working there? And with a guy like Quashid Scott being in that nickel battle, can he be a guy who helps that corner too a little bit this season?
Yeah. As far as the other corner position or the other corners, they're all battling. We're young there. There's no question about it. There's an opportunity for those other guys to really get in there and compete and solidify themselves to be in that position. Quashid, I've really been pleased with. I feel like Quashid is really, kind of taken a step in the last week or so just with the way that he's, I sat with him at lunch the other day and we talked about it, just understanding the defense and things are slowing down and being able to know what he's doing, but now be able to recognize the offense and what they're doing. I think he's playing faster and at a higher level, and he's certainly a guy that has shown that he's got really good cover skills. We knew that coming from Kentucky. So certainly you guys have heard me talk about position flexibility, and the more guys can do, the better. And absolutely, if it's those guys at nickel can go out there and play corner, they should be able to, because if we got them at the nickel position, they got to be able to cover in our scheme. So you'd feel okay about being able to put those guys out there. We haven't done that, as it's something we've talked about. Certainly with a lot of positions like that, there's flexibility. But right now we're just trying to get those young guys behind Vicari and Judge. Vicari and Judge got to continue to play at a high level, which they are, and then we got to continue to bring those young guys along where we feel good about the guys behind Vicari and Judge as we go into the season. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, guys. All right. Thank you, guys. Great seeing you, Pete.